My parents had 5 kids, Michael, Marcus, Maria, Max, and Magnus. All 5 of us were very close as kids, and we did a lot of things together. My brother and I delivered papers to help my parents make ends meet. Our 2 jobs were to deliver papers and serve as altar boys on Sundays. So my oldest brother was actually born in West Africa, and he's always been my closest friend. He was the best man in my wedding. I was the best man in his wedding. My sister went to Dartmouth, and she studied art and French at Dartmouth, became fluent in French and lived in France for a while, and took her art degree and went to dental school at Temple, at Temple University in Philadelphia. And then after getting her degree, she started a dental practice in Florida, where she still lives today. And I have 2 other brothers. I have my brother Max, who took a long, winding road to becoming a priest. He is a diocesan priest in Cleveland, Ohio. He is the vicar of Holy Angels Church, Holy Angels Parish in Cleveland. He lived a very interesting life. He went to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute to become an engineer first. He dropped out of there and later went to University of Pittsburgh to finish his engineering degree, but never worked as an engineer. He worked doing all kinds of jobs. He was a truck driver for a long time. He worked for Federal Express for a long time. He then started buying houses in the inner city and fixing them up, and basically started developing houses himself. He's very, very good with his hands. In fact, my wife saves projects for him to come visit because she doesn't trust my hands. She completely trusts his. But over time, we could see him evolving from someone who was, I don't know how to put this politely, but he wasn't the pillar of the community. He was a person who was very self-focused, self-oriented, and not the most trustworthy person in the world. But we could see him evolving. You could actually see the Holy Spirit working in his life. And over time, he has evolved into the best man I know. He is the person I trust most on earth after my wife. And he is one of the most important people in my life. And not just my life, but in the lives of his parishioners, especially the children. He is magical with children. He's such a good influence and guiding light to kids. My youngest brother, his name is Magnus, but I think I've called him Magnus maybe twice in my entire life. We have always known him as Bounce or The Bounce. He's married with 2 kids. He lives in Seattle. He's an executive for Alaska Airlines. He's always worked in the airlines industry. He went to Loyola Marymount in Los Angeles. He was a handful for my parents when he was a kid. And my mom was really at her wit's end as to what to do with him. He's much younger than me. He's 7 years younger than me. My mom just didn't know what to do to corral him when he was young. And our parish priest at St. Agnes was a wonderful, wonderful man, probably one of the most important figures in my life and in our lives, Father Ronan. Said to my mom, I've been asked to go out and head up a school in York, Pennsylvania. It's a boarding school. I think you ought to think about sending Bounce with me. And my mom said, we're poor. There's no way we could afford it. And he said, you let me worry about that. So Father Ronan took this really wild, very undisciplined kid and turned him into one of the most admirable men I've ever known. It's emotional thinking about what Father Ronan did for us.